Don't miss in 26. Check out the highlights for New Comic Book Day April 29, 2026. Batman and Wonder Woman go on a search for truth in a new series. The Justice League travels through intergalactic space in a new one-shot. And Zatanna is back with a new series. Doom lives and battles for dominance in the year 2099. Punisher continues to issue number 3 and the Ultimates come to a conclusion in issue number 23. Final Boss gets a one-shot featuring the Masked Vigilante. Discover the ultimate odd couple in Red Roots. I Hate Fairyland hits the landmark issue number 50 this week. It's Vampires vs. Convicts in the Abitur 6 series. Elric the Sleeping Sorceress debuts. And fame and fortune don't matter when the lens is focused on the chaos of Murder Hobo. Get what you want, and more, at iwantmorecomics.com.
It's a calm Tuesday in the Mile High City because there's no playoff games anybody's got to worry about.
That's correct. We're not angry or fighting or winning and losing.
You're in between things. We're all right.
Yeah. What better time than now to discuss great comics that are releasing now that we have everyone's attention?
Yeah, easy enough, right?
Yes.
And I mean, this is a minor week for comics anyway, right? Because there's no big events going on or anything like that we got to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't one of the bigger weeks of comics. Yeah, no, this is same old.
Same old.
No, we have a huge week of comic books. Today we're talking about comic books that are coming out on Wednesday. What Keith is referring to is the amazing event that we are actually really happy to announce still exists, which is Free Comic Book Day. It survived the Diamond Crash and now has kind of morphed into two different holidays as Free Comic Book Day and Comic Book Giveaway Day premieres. It's the same thing with a different name. You'll show up. We have some comics to give away. Do not miss out. That is this Saturday, May 2nd. So
store will be open at 10.
That is correct, 10 a.m. We're going to do normal hours, and we will be here all day waiting on you. So don't hesitate.
Be sure to swing through the parking lot and see our friends at Colorado Movie Cars. Is that what they're?
Yes.
Is that the correct name?
It is Geek Garage, is what we call them. Yep.
Geek Garage.
Yes.
See our friends with that. They will be here and sporting and styling.
Yes,
so
yes.
Say hey, give them the high fives.
Makes us really hard to miss too. There's all these cool cars in front.
Yeah, it's kind of nice for that. So we appreciate that coming by.
But let's talk about what's coming out tomorrow. And by coming out tomorrow, I mean available right now for those of you watching along. You can follow us by joining us on the website at iwantmorecomics.com. Click the new release this week button, and boom, you're right on the page where Keith and I are going to be browsing and discussing all the great comic books hitting the rack tonight.
You know,
yeah,
I think this guy does it deliberately for you, Richie. And all
okay.
This. Nam always finds the questions that are just the greatest questions to ask here. Like, will there be a food truck too? And all this. And the answer is this year, there will not be a food truck. We were not able to get one scheduled in. They are becoming quite popular and quite busy. And we just were not on time to be able to get that done this year.
Yes. So yeah, there won't be food. You have to bring your own food. Take care of yourself before or after you visit us.
I will say there's like at least 5 or 6 food trucks like within half a mile of here, up and down.
That is correct. There are
very easy
all around us.
It's very easy to find some good options there.
All right. Back to what we were discussing, which is comic books available right now. There are a lot of number ones to get through and kind of discuss. Almost every publisher has a little highlight today, which is fun. So we'll get through them as quickly as possible. The unique one is the one I'm not going to talk a ton about today is Marvel. But Marvel has a lot of great continuity comics coming out. They just don't have a ton of issue number ones releasing. They have some big stuff in the works coming in the next following week. So I think it's just a little bit of a lull before the storm.
A lot of people line up their books with the Free Comic Book Day books, and like that's kind of a kickoff and a teaser and get you interested in some pieces from there. So That's why this week can sometimes be a little hush hush, quiet quiet.
Yeah, and it's not even a little off because it's also a fifth week in the
Yes.
schedule. So there's a lot of reasons why the comics are a little off, which also explains why there's a lot of like independents going like, hey, check us out, check our number ones out. We can jump in between the schedule break for the big two or big three.
Where you want to start?
So let's start with Midnight Factory, which is a newer publisher to me, but the name Murder Hobo does feel familiar. But this is a new issue, number one, and it is kind of like a world of heroes and battle warriors and stuff like that are always seeking fame and fortune, but we're not going to be focusing on them. We're focusing on the chaotic anarchy that is the Murder Hobo in this world. So I see just absolute wackiness and crazy over-the-top violence. I think it's going to be a really great time.
Murder Hobo disappeared from everybody's radar in the crash of Scout Comics. That's where they were originally. And now they are self-published through Midnight Factory. So that's why this feels familiar. And you're like, wait a minute. I have heard that name before. That is exactly where we're at.
There you go. That's why. So there you go. Grab Murder Hobo. It tried to lose, but you can't keep Murder Hobo down.
No. Unbeatable.
Next up, we will talk about Pesto Comics, which I think will go unnoticed, but I really think we have an audience for this. From Parts Unknown, number one is going to be this is going to be another fun fantasy-filled professional wrestling comic book focused on a tag team tournament where two washed-up tag team wrestlers find themselves in a place where it's win to survive kind of thing, and they continue to battle for glory, and not just their lives but glory as well. I think anybody that's doing Wrestling Heist or something like that might want to pick this bad boy up. It's definitely under the radar, definitely independent, but I know at least 4 or 5 people that are probably really going to enjoy this comic book.
Yeah, fandom there does have, it's kind of got a built-in inherent people that it can attract there. So
from there we can go over to Bad Idea. Bad Idea has 2 number ones this week. The first one is Oddball's Odyssey, which is going to be a very heady, very artsy book, kind of with a retelling and kind of merging of Homer's Odyssey into like a surreal Mobius style world. I think it's got some really cool legs with the art and the overall reach of the book. I think will be very good. So
Tony Millionaire is well known for Sock Monkey, which you can even see here on the cover of the main one here. So this feels like again him having a chance to explore his own collaborations and universe like that. So should be a lot going on there. It's going to a little bit of a bigger book at $7.99. I mean page count, not size, not just page size wise. So quite a bit going on in that direction.
With the price,
I was going to bring up the homage cover.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff there. We were able, we brought in a couple that we looked were going to be popular because Mickey Mouse is a little bit public domain now. You can play in that area. And then Winsor McKay style this cover here. So this is that Little Nemo in Slumberland?
Yeah, Little Nemo. Yep. Yeah. Perfect homage. It is an expensive book, and I believe it's going to be worth every penny at $7.99. The opposite of that, if you're like, man, my wallet's a little strapped, I got another comic book for you at $1.99. Warbird releases. This is going to be from the minds of screenwriter Derek Kolstad, who did John Wick. He is doing this story is basically about a repo man that kind of takes back billion-dollar yachts and private planes from billionaires and trillionaires that can't pay their money on time. So, it seems like high octane stakes, I'm sure, going to twist on certain jobs that he has, and I think has a unique, fresh idea in a genre that is a little played out. So I think it'll be fun. For $1.99, I don't think there's a reason not to pick up the book and give it a shot. But it will be available this week as well.
Yep.
Over at Mad Cave Studios, those that are in the Gatchaman universe, which I know a few people are, make sure not to miss Gatchaman Red Impulse #1 that releases this week.
Yep.
Antarctic Press is the next one. We're going to go to Pounds of Power. This one's pretty interesting. It's basically a mini series that was inspired by the late Ralphie May. It's going to be about a overweight gentleman that finds out he has powers, and it's kind of a comedy of superhero parody kind of thing, inspired by Ralphie May from back in the day. So I think it might be pretty cool if you're a fan as well. I'm slipping over to Image Comics from here. Red Roots #1 is going to be releasing. And this is kind of like an odd couple, but in the most extreme concept of it. There's a professional killer and a high school teacher that have to team up because of outside mysterious forces keep putting them together, and they have to kind of work together to break some sort of curse that's been put upon them. A lot of cool, interesting stories or paths they can go with this, and there's a couple cool variants as well.
Yeah, so Lorenzo De Felici is writing interiors, and this is the main cover. People will know that name from working with Robert Kirkman on Oblivion Song.
Yep.
That's a good one there. And then you can tell that the person's well loved in the industry if they get a whole bunch of covers by creators that you know. So the Mike Mignola cover is a big deal there. Jason Howard. Was there one more? Yeah, there. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. There's two more there. Rossimo and Ryan Otley there. So you can see where you make friends in the industry and people respect your work. They come around and help you out with your new #1. So that should stand as a little bit of a signature there.
Yeah, I think it does kind of give you a green light that maybe if you are slightly interested, I'd pick it up because I think it's got some weight behind it as well.
I was going to quickly hit this because I know we got a lot we're trying to cover here, but I Hate Fairyland hitting 50 today.
I did have that in my notes, so you're good.
I knew you would. We're on the image page here and all this. Yep. So there is quite a few variants. A couple were already sold out of on this. But Gertrude turns 50 with her Chaos and Madness. You're getting to see everybody who's been anywhere with this, and lots of people showing up. I mean, this is Mateo Scalera.
Daniel Warren Johnson's really good too.
Yeah, the DWJ right here. It's the expensive one because they gave him the big one there.
Well, he didn't shy away from it though. It looks great.
He delivered. Mafood fits for this pretty well, and of course you do have Scotty Young doing something there, making fun of even himself. So that is one to pay attention with all the different variants if it is something that you've picked up, Gertrude, in the past.
From there, we also have a one-shot off, kind of slipping off from the Final Boss era. Final Boss Masked Vigilante is going to be released this week. So if you're part of that journey, Tyler Kirkham's high-octane superhero vigilante series, he has a vigilante one-shot releasing.
There's a little bit here where people are kind of comparing and putting a little buzz to this because of, like the character angle, like they did with Fireborn, how that kind of picked up afterwards.
Yes.
Spinning out of what was that? Lost Fantasy, right? Yeah. So that's kind of making people pay attention and pick up more of the series.
Do you count this A cover as an Akira homage?
I think it's there, don't you? Like
it's close. It's close. I don't know if it's a straight up, but
the side angles kind of got that going on.
It feels on purpose. So
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Next up, G.I. Joe's Real American Heroes Silent Missions. The Cobra editions are finishing up this week. It was a 5 mini-series for the 5 weeks in April. Our final one is featuring Firefly, so don't miss out on that.
Yep.
Over at IDW, we have an annual for Street Sharks. Just thought I'd bring that up because Street Sharks have an annual, and I didn't think I'd say that in 2026. So here we are. Look at that. How awesome.
IDW's got also a couple other cool pieces here. The Rocketeer and Lower Decks have an IDW Classics edition. These are $1.99 reprints of the stories. So again, if you were kind of curious, like what was the flavor like of Lower Decks, the comic book compared to, like the TV cartoon. And then of course, Rocketeer's got a great Dave Stevens cover. $1.99 for the main one. I do think there's going to be some popularity here with the foil at $10. And at the same time, if you like that whole story, they put out right next to it the really affordably priced. What they're doing now is the IDW Classics collections, which, if I remember right, these are the same kind of size as the DC Compacts.
Oh, yeah, I believe so.
So they're reprinting large amounts of stuff at a really affordable price, $13.99 there.
All right, excellent. Now we'll move over to Titan Comics to talk about a very interesting comic that people look for is Elric, the series. Elric the Sleeping Sorceress #1 releases this week, so don't miss out. I can't tell you how many times Elric comes out and then 3 weeks later someone's like, hey, where's Elric? It's here right now. Pick it up. Don't miss out.
Yep.
Dark Horse Comics is our next one. Hellboy in Love Black Eyes one-shot releases. Mike Mignola at the helm for writing duties here.
Yep.
Cool one-shot.
Straightforward.
Then Dynamite also bringing us a one-shot, but it's a giant-size Savage Tales.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun here with the Red Sonja gets a cover, Vampirella gets a cover, both done by Bjorn Barons. But this is a little bit of an anthology book where you are getting different character stories inside of it. That's the giant size aspect of it. So you're getting quite a bit of content there for the $7.99 price tag.
Then we'll go over to Red 5 Comics. This is going to be a new #1 that's kind of all ages, but it's kind of unique in the fact that it's like a all ages story, heartfelt friendship concept, but in the background of a full-blown apocalypse. So I think it's got I know a lot of people that would love for this to be like the thing they read to the kiddos at home. If that interests you, I think you should jump on it. The Last Harlemite releases this week as well.
I'm trying to decide if that dog is just perspective close to us or if he's like as big as Clifford.
I think
Clifford's the big red dog.
I think he's perspective close to us. At
You
least
think
from
that's
the
what it is?
synopsis. They didn't mention a giant dog.
Like that would be a big dog.
Yes. Over at Antarctic Press, we have Legacy, the final chapter. Legacy is a giant story that's been going on for an extremely long time, and these mini-series breaks kind of a la Hellboy does. So this is continuation of those storylines. A lot of characters, a lot of people have been following for a long, long time. If you're interested, I would make sure to grab that up. Over at Iron Age Comics, we have Abador 6, which is going to be Escape from New York meets 30 Days of Nights meets Mad Max. It's basically vampires versus inmates. There's creepy vampires that have been released, and we are through the POV of some inmates trapped in a prison with them.
Yeah, this definitely looks on the freakish side of things.
Yeah.
If you guys remember also with Iron Age Comics, I did not see this ahead of time. A lot of times they are a little bit larger in size. Like they've got kind of like a more of a golden age size to them, but also like a high quality print. If you remember that from some past stuff there. I didn't see if that continued this time, but if it did, it's going to stand out really heavy on the rack.
Yes. Archie Comics is continuing its 85th anniversary. They've been kind of going like movies and television and cartoons, and now we're doing video games for this one. So the Archie Game Galaxy #1 releases this week, and it has some pretty sweet covers that I recommend you take a look at.
I thought that I could pick this correctly as to which covers were going to be more popular. And while these two covers have sold, I under ordered the Betty and Veronica Mega Man.
Oh,
so we are already out of that one. Like, you know how this is part of that guessing game where, you know, like I'm trying to say, oh, where's the fandom? Where do people care about? I'm like, the Mario, you know, it's gotta be the Mario side of things, right? Nope, Mega Man definitely.
Mega Man took it.
This afternoon, any extra copies we had on that were already gone.
And if you're one of those people that are like, oh man, I missed the Mega Man, I have a show you should watch. It's every Sunday. We talk about Final Orders Due. You could order.
Oh, you mean where you can pick any variant that you want and turn around and not have to worry about waiting in line? Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about Keith and I trying to guess which one's more popular. You can just pick out the one you like.
You can always bet on me being wrong. So then if you show up on Sundays, you can just bet on yourself.
That's right. Next up, we have Invader Comics. Invader Comics is going to present Space Minotaur, which is hilarious to me. Space Minotaur is just that. It's a Minotaur in space. You thought he died in the labyrinth. You were wrong. This is a flip book that tells the story of a Minotaur that is having space adventures, and then the other side is a Minotaur that is working in the 1970s during a Tokusatsu show, a la Godzilla in a suit. So fantastic, absolutely off the wall. I think it'll be hilarious. $7.99 is a bit of a steep push, but I will tell you that I think Invader Comics has a free comic book day available as well that might give you a little insert into the world, so you're not completely lost before making a purchase.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings us to the big two. Marvel Comics will go first since there's only one there, but it's a kind of a cool one. It's Doom 2099, Rage of Doom #1, and it's basically Doom 2099 versus Ultron, which I think is just dope. That's going to be fun. There are covers galore on this one, and I think we're going to get a really, from here until December, I think Marvel is going to really celebrate Doom, getting us all prepared and hyped for Doom Quest, or Doomsday, that is. And why not start with Doom 2099 and have them battle Ultron 2099?
As a segue there, I'm going to go a little off the reservation here. We talked about this Sunday. We didn't know what was going on. Things were weird. Marvel agreed it was so weird that they turned around and have extended ordering for 616 day bags featuring Doom. And we have better information now. If you'll note here in all this, we can see the Bianchi black and white #1 here. So again, the entire comic is black and white version of this compared to what the other ones are. And then you can also see the 3 facsimiles that are in here, which will either have the main cover. Again, one bag contains one of these plus one of these at random, or even something bigger. But those are the 3 ones that the issues that they're doing: Avengers 25, Fantastic Four 258, Iron Man 149, which are big Doom stories.
Huge. Yeah.
Newer covers on them by Dan Panosian, Peach Momoko, and Alessandro Cappuccio. So really cool stuff. The one bonus item, it looks like you get a mask.
You do get a mask, yeah.
Now, you may not get a variant. You may not get one of these variants at the bottom because maybe it's replaced by something ultra rare like a sketch comic or something like that. So, I'm bringing it up. Orders are open for that through Monday. You guys can place those pre-orders at any point in time from there. Pre-orders are going to be filled first for when we get our copies in.
Excellent. Okay, so that is our Marvel segment. Unless you want to throw.
There's great variants that I think everybody should definitely take a little bit of time. You know how there's a Talbera
Yep.
Talavera that you're always gonna take a look at, and all this. And this Predator Bloodshed has been doing very well. I will say also the Punisher has a kind of a spiking variant.
We can definitely talk about that. Yeah.
You want to talk about the hotness that's out there right now? This Marvel Television variant here is spiking up and getting some demand online for that. And there's good stuff inside of that series there. So plenty to be seen. Spend your time, flip through, and pick.
And to Keith's point, there is a cover theme for Ultimate Farewell. I think this might be the last week of those. So if you haven't got all of them, you can grab that as well.
Yep, those are there.
All right, let's jump into DC with a few number ones. The first one is Justice League Intergalactic Special. This is going to be kind of a new chapter for All In. This is Act 2, the Saga. I think it's going to push our storyline further into kind of the space and deeper into the reach of the new Absolute Universe, or the Omega particle, for those that are really following along. I think that if you're interested in the higher concept of the DC Universe, this is a pretty good get. If you're also just kind of looking forward to some of those C-level characters that don't get enough screen time, like Arrow and Dreamer, I think that this is also a good pickup. The variants also are not phoning it in. They are really, really strong.
Full delivery, absolutely here. Putri, Derek Chu, Dan Mora on those. I mean, Dan Mora is just going to be a blah, right? Like no big deal.
Really,
not an homage to anything.
Yeah.
No big deal. Yeah.
Incredible.
Nothing going on.
So that's definitely a good one. Zatanna #1 is coming out this week, 2026. Speaking of an absolute banger, I do think Zatanna's got potential to be great, but most people already know that. I will say that I am a big fan of Jamal Campbell. I love the way his illustrations are, and I like his writing as well. So he is a triple threat cover artist and writer here, but he brought in some of his most famous friends to do some really great covers, and you can see those there.
Yeah, the Aom or the Adam Hughes just really kind of stand out. Foil would be like that version. Man. And we don't have many copies of the 1 in 25 Tedesco here. I expect that to be gone pretty quickly.
Agreed. Let's move on to Batman Wonder Woman Truth releases this week. This is going to be an aftermath of a comic book that hasn't ended yet. Yeah. So don't get too confused, but Jeff Loeb teamed up with Jim Chung to write a really cool story in what I'm calling the Hush universe. It's the only way to really read Hush at this point, is that Hush is kind of a pocket universe, and there's cool stuff going on during that. They're going to tell you that that's continuity, and technically they're right, but if you listen to your comic guy, just separate it. That's having a good time over there, okay? So this is going to be Batman Wonder Woman Truth. I do not believe you need to read the end of the comic Hush, which is on our final orders due show, but there might be a potential something in the world that you're going to go, what does that mean? I think this is going to be a one-off that has just a really good time of Batman, Wonder Woman versus Joker, Harley Quinn. It's going to be great because Jeff Loeb is an excellent writer. That is like saying water's wet. And Jim Chung's also brilliant. So right on that A cover, you can see how excellent the artwork's going to be. But if you don't need both the interior and the cover to match, I think there's amazing variants to pick up, including the great Jim Lee.
Good luck choosing between Delato, Jim Lee, or Villalobos. Like that's just absolutely murderer's row for this week.
And then finally, another one that's a little bit convoluted, but I really think we should celebrate it. Swamp Thing 1989 #1 is coming out, and this is going to bring back those people that have been reading since the 80s. Rich Veidt has been known for one of his all-time great Swamp Thing runs, and the thing about this is that it got canceled. It got cut short. We never saw the full storyline of this series, and they've gone back, put it under Black Label, and now are reprinting it to completion. So we will get the entire series, including the origin of Etrigan.
Yeah, this it's great that this has come out of the vault. That is finishing, like what was canceled here. You have Michael Zulli's cover here. There was a more controversial cover kind of thing that kind of shook the office building about this and why it ended up where it did. But you get the gist of it with this one here. It's quality stuff that obviously fans from back in the day are going to feel right at home with the creative team back there doing it. But it's really solid stuff for that. I was going to bring up here while we're on DC, they did 2 great little things this week of full series reprints in connecting covers. DCO here has a connecting cover. You can guys see it's a little bit tougher to see here, but the Javier Fernandez connecting covers for all 5 parts. It's just a full scale epic type thing going on there. But it's the way these line up here, the DC Sonic the Hedgehog, these 5 covers are just absolutely spectacular. There are plenty of people who bought this series who are still going to need to buy a set of these covers just because they really want to have the connectors. I've seen online people posting up that they're going to buy this and put this up in their kids' room because they think it's just pure art, and I don't disagree. So know that that's there with a little bit of other second prints you can browse through with DC.
There you go. That is everything we have for today. I will quickly highlight that awesome Frank Miller cover for Dark Knight Returns facsimile because it is gorgeous. And
I will bring up that we already sold out of the Frank Quietly one.
Yeah, that's already gone.
So demand was there for that. Sorry, guys, if you didn't already ask for it. But
that's everything that we have for this week. Again, all of it's going to be available tomorrow physically for you. But if you're looking to purchase digitally, we got you right now. Go ahead and fill that card up and go ahead and select pick up in the store after you purchase.
Yep, I'll be here pulling out the stuff tonight. So everyone enjoy your night, watch some hockey, and we will catch you tomorrow on the stream sale.
Go Avs.
Don't miss in 26. Check out the highlights for New Comic Book Day April 29, 2026. Batman and Wonder Woman go on a search for truth in a new series. The Justice League travels through intergalactic space in a new one-shot. And Zatanna is back with a new series. Doom lives and battles for dominance in the year 2099. Punisher continues to issue number 3 and the Ultimates come to a conclusion in issue number 23. Final Boss gets a one-shot featuring the Masked Vigilante. Discover the ultimate odd couple in Red Roots. I Hate Fairyland hits the landmark issue number 50 this week. It's Vampires vs. Convicts in the Abattoir 6 series. Elric the Sleeping Sorceress debuts. And fame and fortune don't matter when the lens is focused on the chaos of Murder Hobo. Get what you want, and more, at iwantmorecomics.com.